Welcome to the Nicholas 11x12 technology. We're once again going to take a look at an Aerocool case here, another cube case to be exact. The Aerocool X Predator cube case, which currently costs around 90 to 110 US dollars. All I can say here right off the bat is that this indeed is an interesting cube case, since you all should be familiar with Aerocool's X Predator series of cases. Thanks a lot to Aerocool for sending me this case to review. In the box, of course, is the case itself and a nice detailed user's manual. Alright, first of all, this X Predator cube case is available in more colors. I've asked them to send me the RG edition, which obviously is the red golden edition, or how I also like to call it, the Iron Man edition. This case is also available in blue red, green black, red black, black, orange black, and white. Quite a lot to choose from. Once again, this is a cube case, which is 28 centimeters wide, 41.8 centimeters high, and 41.2 centimeters deep. Right off the bat, in terms of aesthetics, I have to say this case is really eye-catchy. Although I prefer minimalistic designs, this case looks pretty good to me too. The case comes with a nice big side panel window. The used materials for the most important parts of the case, of course, are out of metal, but the covers are out of plastic. The mesh in the front here, however, is out of metal. Right here at the top we have a very nice front panel indeed. It has that brushed aluminum look to it. A nice big power button, but unfortunately no sign of a reset button. Why? I have no idea, to be honest. But at least there are headphone and microphone jacks, as well as two USB 3.0 ports. Also very nice to have here is the awesome built-in fan controller with knobs. This fan controller is able to control fans with up to 15 watts per channel. Then right here we have some kind of storage compartment with an anti-slip rubber pad for your keys and all that stuff, I guess. The ventilation design on the top is very interesting. There's the switch here to open and shut the cover. When opened, you obviously allow for better ventilation. In the front is a single 5¼ inch drive bay. Down here, as we are used to see, is the Aerocool logo. Now once we take the front cover off, as you can see, there's a nice dust filter. Pre-installed is a 200mm 500 RPM fan with white LEDs. You could also install up to two 120mm or up to two 140mm fans here. And since there's quite much room inside for the front, I'm assuming you could also fit up to a 240 or 280mm radiator in here. Of course, if your graphics card isn't too long. This X Predator cube case supports micro ATX as well as mini ITX motherboards. I like the fact that this part of the interior is kept red and that there are 3 rubber grommets for tidier cable management. By the way, the whole motherboard plate can be removed to make the installation easier, what I think is an excellent decision. To install HDDs, we first have to remove 2 thumb screws to slide out the HDD rack. That works very well. The HDD trays slide in and out very easily and support 3.5 inch as well as 2.5 inch drives such as SSDs, for example. This case can unfortunately only hold up to 3 drives, but at least there's more room for other stuff. In one of the trays is the accessory box. Let's take a look what's included. Not really much, as you can see. First, an USB 3.0 to USB 2.0 adapter, which I think is very kind of Aerocool to include, since older motherboards might not have an USB 3.0 header on board, so you could at least still make use of these 3.0 ports at USB 2.0 transfer speeds. Also included all the needed screws and some cable ties. Right beside the HDD rack in the lower deck, as Aerocool calls it, is a pre-installed black 140mm fan. You could also mount a 120mm fan here. To finish the HDD installation, just slide the HDD rack back into place and fasten the 2 thumb screws. In the lower deck is also where the power supply is mounted. This case indeed supports standard ATX power supplies and it rests on soft padding to reduce vibration. Also, this PSU bracket makes the installation a lot easier. The PSU has to be installed standing and Aerocool has thought about that and has ventilation holes on the other side panel with a dust filter that is kept in place by magnets. Very nice. Not to forget the cables here, the front panel cables with up to 6 fan connectors. Really impressive. In the upper deck is no pre-installed fan, but you could install a 120 or 140mm fan here, or a 120 or 140mm radiator. As for graphics cards, you could install up to 2 high-end cards into this case, with lengths of up to 345mm without the front fan though. As for CPU coolers, the max height for Air CPU coolers is 162mm or up to 187mm if no top fans are installed. On the top you could mount a single 200mm fan, one 120 or 140mm fan, or up to two 120 or 140mm fans. The ODD rack, however, has to be removed for this purpose. You could also mount a 120 or 140mm radiator up here, or a 240 or 280mm radiator. Again, for that purpose the ODD rack needs to be removed. On the rear we see 4 expansion slots and 2 water cooling holes up here. On the bottom are 4 rubber feet to keep the case in place. So overall, the Aerocool X Predator Cube seems to be a very good cube case. Aerocool really did their homework and apparently did lots of research on what consumers want and expect from a cube case. I personally am really fascinated by the fact that there are so many spots for water cooling radiators offered at such a small form factor. The installation of components is made as easy and as convenient as possible. That's what I really like here too. Very well thought out. In terms of aesthetics, sure, it may not be everyone's taste, but don't forget there are other colors available too, just in case it's the color that bothers you. Again, I prefer minimalistic designs, but this one looks good too. For a price of $90 to $110 US, not that cheap, but I'd say the price is a little higher because of the convenience and the good amount of radiator mounting points. A very good case indeed. I'd definitely recommend the Aerocool X Predator Cube Case. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and visit Nicholas11x12flickx.com to see videos there earlier than on YouTube.